Next topic is the apogee and the decline of the empire. What is the meaning of apogee? Apogee means zenith or peak. As you all know, about the 4 dynasties of Vijayanagara Empire. What are they? The first one was the Sangama dynasty. They experienced their power till 1485. They were supplanted by, or they were replaced by another lineage, that was Saluva dynasty, and they experienced their power till 1503. And after that, the third dynasty, that was the Tuluva dynasty, the most important dynasty in the Vijayanagara Empire. Because the prominent king, the famous king, the wise king, Krishnadevaraya, belongs to this dynasty. He was the third king. And this dynasty lasts till 1542. 1542, the power supplanted or transported towards the next dynasty, that was Aravidu dynasty. Right? Now I am going to explain the achievements of Raja Krishnadevaraya. See, the Krishnadevaraya's rule was characterized by expansion and consolidation, we can say. This was the time the land between the Tungabhadra and Krishna river, that was known as Rayas, that was occupied by Krishnadevaraya in 1512. Rayas occurred or occupied by Krishnadevaraya. And the rulers, he defeated the rulers of Bijapur Sultan, as well as the rulers of, subdued the rulers of Orissa. Subdued the rulers of Orissa in 1514 and then defeated Bijapur Sultan in 1520. That means he expanded and he consolidated the areas. Not only the expansion and the consolidation, apart that so many things he developed also. And what are they? See? And under the rule of Krishnadevaraya, total peace and prosperity. He brought peace and prosperity in Vijayanagara. All the people were very happy. And the army was ever ready for fighting as well as facing any troubles or any surprise and all. That type of army was with him. And fine temples. He was credited with the buildings, some fine temples, and adding impressive gopurams. Gopurams means the gateways. South India ka most important temples, also the contribution of this Krishnadevaraya only. Many temples, fine temples, as well as massive structure of gopurams also he built. Right? He also founded a suburban township called Nangalapuram after his mother. मतलब एक सब अर्बन टाउन और एक टाउन बना दिया अपना मम्मी का नाम देकर के. मम्मी का नाम यहाँ पर लिखा है सी तुलुवा डायनेस्टी का कृष्णदेवराया थर्ड किंग. उसके बाद अच्युता देवराय उसका ब्रदर आया, बुक में है नहीं. एंड फादर है तुलुवा नरसा नायका एंड मदर नंगला देवी. सी नंगला देवी के नाम पर उसने नंगलापुरम जो आपका सब अर्बन सिटी भी बना दिया. राइट? Strain began to show within the imperial structure following Krishnadevaraya's death in 1529. Decline started. His successors, they were troubled by the chiefs, that means the Nayakas, prime ministers, they were chiefs. And these chiefs, they troubled because successors were weak. ये कहता है, जो कहानी भी है, not in the book. The Nayakas, Nayakas, they poisoned this Krishnadevaraya. Even एक स्टोरी मैंने ऐसे भी पढ़ा था, कृष्णदेवराय का बेटा था, यंग युवराजा था, उनको भी क्या कर दिया कि जो ये नायकास ने पॉइजन दिया था. उसमें मैंने ऐसे सुना था, पढ़ा था कि जो बेटे को पॉइजन देने के बाद जो कृष्णदेवराय अगेन राजा बन गया, पावरफुल हो गया था कुछ साल के लिए, उसको भी फिर जो आपका नायकास ने पॉइजन किया. That means the successors, whatever it is, successors were troubled by the rebellious Nayakas or military chief. And in 1542, control shifted into the another lineage, that was the Aravidu dynasty. That another lineage, Aravidu dynasty. right? And Aliya Ramaraya के बारे में हमने बताया था, Ramaraya, isn't it? The military ambitions of the rulers of Vijayanagara, as well as those of the Deccan Sultanates, that led to the alliance of sultans. As I told you that Deccan Sultanates, they were the 5 separate kingdoms, small kingdoms, and these old kingdoms together alliance बना दिया, and against they formed the alliance, and against the Vijayanagara, and the battle started. In 1565, see, 1565, Ramaraya, he led the army into the battle at Rakshasi Tangadi, which is known as Talikota. Rakshasi Tangadi. The battle started. And in that, the Sultans, together this alliance, Sultan ka jo alliance, they defeated this Ramaraya. And the victorious soldiers, army of the Sultans, they ransacked the most beautiful Vijayanagara city. And they plundered it and everything. They destroyed the things. They looted the things. Right? Though the armies of the Sultans were responsible for the destruction of the city of Vijayanagara, but the relation between the Sultans and the Rayas were always not always unfriendly. That means during the Krishnadevaraya, he also started this rebellious action against the Sultans, and they also, but then also the relation between this Vijayanagara and the Sultans were friendly also sometimes. In spite of religious differences, Krishnadevaraya supported and helped the Sultans. That is why, that is a plus point or good quality of Krishnadevaraya. Though rebellious किया है, religious differences भी है, then also उन्होंने क्या कर दिया, बहुत जगह पर बहुत time में help किया the Sultans का, right? And for selecting the successors, कभी कभी ऐसे confusion हो जाता है successors का आपस में, तो उसके लिए help किया है. And Krishnadevaraya also, already we have learned that in the first video, he was ready to adopt the technology from these Sultans. Isn't it? And these Sultans given the title also to Devaraya, Krishnadevaraya, what? Establisher of the Yavana kingdom. Puchenge one mark mein, who was known as the establisher of Yavana kingdom. Krishnadevaraya was known as the establisher of the Yavana kingdom, that has given by the Sultans. उनको जो प्रॉब्लम जब आया था उन्हें हेल्प कर दिया, दैट इज किंगडम फॉर्म करने के लिए हेल्प किया, दैट इज व्हाई दे हैव गिवन द टाइटल. एंड फ्रेंडली रिलेशन का एग्जाम्पल भी है, isn't it? They were the friend, मतलब जो though they were rebellious and fought each other, but then also there is some examples also or experience also the relationship का, good relationship का. The good example is this. And one more thing I wanted to say that अभी जस्ट मन में आया है, मेन टॉपिक्स में कोई चीज़ नहीं होता है, सब सोर्स में होता है, वो दैट आल्सो टू रीड. क्योंकि दिस टाइम ना दिस बार दिस टाइम द टीचर केम फ्रॉम दिस DPS ओनली फॉर द वाइवा. दैट टाइम ही आस्क्ड जो द पर्सन दोस हु ऑप्टेड दिस विजयनगरा प्रोजेक्ट ना, उनसे क्वेश्चन पूछा है, नेम द बुक कंपोज्ड बाय कृष्णदेवराया इन तेलुगु. कृष्णदेवराय ने एक बुक कंपोज किया था कि तेलुगु में, अबाउट हिज स्टेट क्राफ्ट के बारे में डिस्क्राइब किया, ट्रेड के बारे में, क्राफ्ट के बारे में, अपने स्टेट का, मीन्स अपने किंगडम का. उस बुक का नाम पूछा है, उसका बुक का नाम है, याद रखना, अमुक्तमल्यादा. वंस अगेन, अमुक्तमल्यादा. ठीक है, वो जो आपका सोर्स में पढ़ा है आप पढ़ेंगे आप, अमुक्तमल्यादा वाज द बुक कंपोज्ड बाय राजा कृष्णदेवराय. राइट. Next topic is the Rayas and the Nayakas. As you all know that this Rayas means the kings or rajas, and Nayakas were the military chief. And these Nayakas, they always move from one area to another. Usually peasants also with them, because in search of fertile land and all. And they had the power also, they acquired the power from king. They are the supporters of armed supporters. They were known as armed supporters, this military chief or the Nayakas. And they controlled the forts also. Nayakas controlled the forts, and they were the armed supporters. Being armed supporter, they become very powerful. Because राजा को इनके बिना तो कुछ कर नहीं सकता. मीन्स अगर वॉर करना है, कुछ करना, इनका सपोर्ट चाहिए. मीन्स आर्म्स चाहिए तो नायकास का सपोर्ट चाहिए. And many Nayakas, you can say, they submitted to king's authority, means राजा को loyalty show किया है. But some Nayakas, they revolted also, means rebellious action. They have shown rebellious action. We have seen in the 16th century also, even 17th century also, they have shown the rebellious action. And these Nayakas, I told you, they move from one place to another, one area to another in search of fertile land and all the things. And even king also allotted the territory to these people. So they have to move. They used to speak two languages, Telugu and Kannada. The people of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they are using the Telugu language, whereas the people of Karnataka, they use this Kannada language. So these Nayakas, they will use both the languages, right? And the most important, the major political innovation of the Vijayanagara Empire, that was the Amara Nayaka system. You have to learn thoroughly the system, Amara Nayaka system. The major political innovation of the Vijayanagara Empire was the Amara Nayaka system. This system very easy to understand because already you have learned in 7th or 6th class, Ikta system, that was derived from the, this system was derived from the Ikta system of Delhi Sultanates. अकबर वगैरह, अकबर भी किया था और उसका अकबर ने नहीं किया था, मीन्स दिल्ली सुल्तान्स ने किया था, इक्तदार सन इक्तास, राइट? ये आपको ये सिस्टम से डेराइव किया है आपका अमर नायका सिस्टम. Many features of Iktas were in this system, right? This you have to learn carefully and write the notes also about this Amar Nayaka system. Under this system, Rayas, the kings, allotted the territory of the land to Nayakas, right? Rayas, the kings, were allotted the territory to the Nayakas. And this Nayaka, they were the controller of this territory. Bada sa land, territory means chota sa nahi, bahut sara bada land honge. And in that territory, many groups were there. Farmers were there, craftsmen were there, traders were there, and they used to collect the taxes from these old groups. Peasants से भी collect करेंगे, traders से collect करेंगे, और आपका craft person से collect करेंगे, such a way. And they got a huge amount of wealth, taxes. To the tax only they got a good wealth मिला है. And क्या करेंगे? What they will use is wealth. कैसे use करेंगे? कैसे what they will do? Let's see. They collected the tax from the territory only, and these revenue they are used for the personal purpose. अपने लिए कुछ रखेंगे, and one part they used for the maintenance of the temples. मंदिर वगैरह राजा के according they used to construct the temples and gopurams and all the things, right? ये सब temple maintain करने के लिए use करेंगे, मतलब maintain करने के लिए use करेंगे. And some part they will use for the maintain the contingent of horses and elephants. Contingents means groups. जो मैंने आपको पहले बोल दिया कि they are the armed supporters. That means उनके पास क्या है, horse का एक group होगा, elephant का groups होंगे, and they used to support this to the king in times of crisis. जब राजा को war करना है, कोई problem है, तो उस टाइम में क्या करेंगे? These people they used to give this horse army के लिए देते हैं elephants को, तो उनको maintain करने के लिए तो पैसे चाहिए. So the Nayakas they use this tax for this purpose also. And some parts or one part is they used for the infrastructure, means peasants के लिए irrigation purpose के लिए canals करना, ये सब कुछ करने के लिए भी infrastructure development के लिए use करते हैं. रोड हो गया, रोड बना दिया, canal बना दिया, irrigation purpose के लिए ना, very different ऐसे infrastructure purpose के लिए use किया है. And one part they used to annual tribute to the king. Annual tribute means yearly some occasion where they have to they have to show the loyalty towards the king. Raja की तरह loyalty दिखाना है. तो they reached or they personally they came to the royal court. वो अपने आप आ जाएंगे gift लेके with the gifts. गोल्ड होगा, डिफरेंट ऑर्नामेंट्स होंगे, डिफरेंट फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स बहुत सारे लेकर के गिफ्ट लेकर के राजा के सामने आएंगे. सो द मनी, वन पार्ट ऑफ द टैक्सेस दे यूज एनुअल ट्रिब्यूट टू द किंग, एंड दे पर्सनली दे अपीयर्ड इन द रॉयल कोर्ट to show with the gifts to show the royalty towards the king, right? And you can see that 15th century, 16th century and 17th century, we have seen the rebellious action of these Nayakas. In 17th century, means 1600 में, 17th century, these Nayakas, they become powerful and they establish their independent kingdom in Vijayanagara. small kingdom उनका बना दिया. That led to the decline of the central authority, imperial authority, right? आज के लिए इतना, और अगले क्लास में अगला टॉपिक हम पढ़ेंगे. प्लीज read carefully the topic, listen. If you are unable to understand, once again 2 times you have to listen the topic, then you read the chapter. 100% you are able to understand, then make the notes also, right? Okay, now the time for questionnaire. My first question is that what were the achievements of Raja Krishnadeva Raya?
The Krishnadeva Raya's achievements are the Raichur Dhop was required, and
Raichur Dhop means that was between the
land between the Tungabhadra and the Krishna river.
Right.
And second is the rulers of Orissa
subdued it.
And the Sultanate of Bhojpur were defeated.
Bijapur.
Bijapur were defeated.
He defeated the Bijapur Sultan, right? And
peace and prosperity were maintained.
That was maintained.
And they also built the fine temples and gopurams. And fifth is that they also founded the suburban township called Nagalapuram after his mother.
Right. These were the achievements of Krishnadeva Raya. And can you tell me the immediate reason for the decline of Vijayanagara Empire? So many reasons, like immediate reason.
After the Krishnadeva Raya's death in 1529, the successors, they were troubled
by the Nayakas.
Rebellion Nayakas.
But अगर आपको 1 mark में पूछे तो simply आप बोलेंगे, the military ambitions of the Vijayanagara rulers as well as the Sultans. दोनों का जो रीजन है आपको, इसमें ना एक और चीज मैंने बोला नहीं शायद है, जो आपका रामा नायका ने क्या कर दिया था जी, सुल्तान्स मतलब जो क्या बोलेंगे डेक्कन सुल्तान्स को आपस में भिड़ने के लिए कोशिश किया था, मीन्स आपस में जो डिफरेंस क्रिएट करने के लिए. आई टोल्ड यू आल्सो इन द ग्रुप इन द लेक्चर ओनली. सो उसका बदले में क्या कहते हैं, द सुल्तान्स केम टू नो दैट दिस पर्सन इज क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम विद इन अस. So that is why together they join, means join करके उन्होंने अटैक करके उस मतलब विजयनगरा को प्लंडर कर दिया, खत्म मतलब हरा दिया. ठीक है, ये बोलेंगे. And who was known as the established of the Yavana kingdom?
The Krishnadeva Raya was known as the
Yavana. The list, sorry, Deccan Sultan has given the title to this person. And can you explain the Amara Nayaka system?
Yes. Amara Nayaka system, in this the Rayas, they given the territory to the Nayakas.
Before that, I want to ask one thing, that this system derived from which system?
Ikta system.
Of
Delhi Sultanate.
Yes,
the Rayas, they given the territory to the Nayakas, and Nayakas were the controller of this territory. In this, they collect the revenue from the peasants and craftsmanship and traders, etc. And some part were used for the personal purposes, and some part were used for maintaining a group of horses and elephants, and one part was used for the annual tribute to the kings, and one part was used for the infrastructure, which means irrigation, and some parts
not only irrigation, roads also they constructed, buildings, inns, and many things they constructed.
And some part were used for maintaining the temples.
Right. Okay. And yes, आज इतना है, इतना पढ़ लेना. Thank you very much.